This video explains how Circle Mobile works and how to troubleshoot issues when it doesn't work. This video may become outdated. For the latest troubleshooting information, go online to the Documentations tab, then the Docs grid, and then the Circle Mobile folder. Then open the document entitled Circle Mobile Troubleshooting Guide. Before we start, it's important that you know about the Devices grid. The Devices grid contains all sorts of great information about each of the devices that you track. You can find the Devices grid from the driver or truck or dispatch grid gear and select Circle Mobile Tracking. This opens the grid of what the TMS knows about each of the tracking devices. It will have information about the token, the location services, if it's active, the app version, and a lot more information. Be sure you know how to find this data and what it means. All the documentation can be found in the online documentation manual. Setting up a device for Circle Mobile is very simple and is covered in a separate video. But basically, from the driver or truck or manifest gear, you can send the Circle Mobile request. This sends a text and/or email to the driver with a link. The driver must click on the link to download the app and connect the device to the driver, truck, or manifest. The TMS actually sends the data via the data service provider of the device, which could be Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, etc. Each service provider may have delays built into sending and receiving data, and the TMS has no control whatsoever on how quickly the device gets the information. The user clicks the link. This downloads the app and connects the device to the full Circle profile. A unique notification token is assigned to link the physical device to the driver or truck or manifest. This is the only time we record the phone settings. If the user changes their settings after setup, our system is not updated. The Circle Mobile device settings we record include the notification token, the notification settings, the location service settings, the camera settings, etc. The first step of troubleshooting is to make sure the driver has the latest version of the app. The Devices grid will show if the driver has an old version. To upgrade the version, have the driver remove the existing app from their device. Once removed, reboot the device. Some devices will retain unwanted information in the device cache, so rebooting the device clears that cache. Send the driver a new link via text message or email. Get the driver to click the link from the text message or email while on the device. Then the driver downloads the new version of the app and the system sets a new device token to apply to the driver or truck or manifest device. So once the device is properly defined, what do we really need to make the application work? It needs a data plan. Since your drivers are going to be on the road, a Wi-Fi service is not a reliable data service. They will need a data plan from their data service provider. It is the responsibility of the driver to ensure that they have a sufficient data plan that will work wherever they travel. The mobile app will not work if the driver puts their device in airplane mode. It will not work if the driver has the cellular data turned off and there is no Wi-Fi. It will not work if the driver has a cellular data plan but has data roaming disabled on the device. Disabling data roaming means as they move outside of their service provider core area, their data plan stops working. It also fails if the driver puts their data plan on low data mode. This will stop Circle Mobile from working. It will not work if they have a roaming plan, but their service provider does not have data service in that area. This is also known as a dead area. It will not work if their service provider does not have a roaming agreement with a carrier and that driver happens to be outside of the core area of that service provider. For example, their service provider might be AT&T, but it might be roaming into an area serviced by Verizon. If AT&T does not have a service agreement with Verizon, then AT&T does not have data coverage in that area, which means the Circle Mobile app will not work. These are very difficult to detect, but this could be a major reason why you cannot track a device in certain areas of the country. What makes this even more challenging is that some of your drivers on Verizon will track fine in a certain area, while other drivers using a different data service provider will not track at all. This makes it very difficult to debug why a device is not tracking. Many service providers have a different network for their voice versus their data, so you may be able to call your driver on the phone, but not be able to connect to them via the data network. Note that voice service may be available, but data service is unavailable in some of these scenarios. There are a few other reasons why the service may not work. If the device is powered down, there is no way that the TMS can connect to the device. It's also possible the data services provider does not relay the data to us in a timely fashion. Also, low power mode on the device will disable some of the services like location services, which means that the system cannot track the device. Just because you can call the phone does not mean that data transmission will work. The voice plan can be different than the data plan. It is important that you ensure your driver has a proper voice and data plan from their service provider. Their data plan must include roaming capabilities for all the areas where they will be driving. Besides some of the issues identified in the previous slide, there are other more technical issues that could prevent the data plan from working. The most difficult to troubleshoot is when the driver is in a data roaming area and their home carrier has not made a data roaming agreement with the actual local carrier they are using. We will now go through some of the key settings on the device to make the system work. On the iPhone, to get the cellular data on, go to the Settings tab, go to Cellular, and set Cellular Data to On. On the iPhone, to get data roaming on, go to Settings, go to Cellular Data Options, set Data Roaming On, and set Low Data Mode off. It is extremely important that data roaming be on and low data mode be off. Once the data services are properly set up, we next set up location services. The device needs to have location services set to on for the entire device. On the iPhone, go to the settings, go to privacy, go to location services and set to on. Once location services are set on for the entire device, now we must let Circle Mobile get access to location services. To do this, go to the settings, find the Circle Mobile app, click the Circle Mobile app, click Location, and set to Always. This will mean that Circle Mobile has access to location services even if the app is running in the background. The next main setting we need is notifications. The device needs to have notifications set to allow notifications for the Circle Mobile app to work properly. On the iPhone, go to the settings, find the Circle Mobile app, click on the Circle Mobile app, click Notifications, set to Allow Notifications. The last key setting is the power saving option. When the device goes into power saver mode, location services and notifications will not work when the Circle Mobile app is running in the background. On the iPhone, go to the settings and then power, and make sure low power mode is set to off. Also, to prevent the device from automatically going to low power mode when it reaches 20%, we recommend the user set the battery percentage to off. Let's go through those same settings for the Android devices. On the Android, to get the cellular data on, go to Settings, then go to Network and Internet, then go to Mobile Network, then set mobile data to on and set roaming to on. On the Android, you also need to ensure the data saver is off. If data saver is on, then the Circle Mobile app will not send position updates if the app is running in the background. To turn data saver off, go to Settings, then go to Network, and then Internet, then go to Data Saver and set Use Data Saver to off. It is extremely important that roaming is on and data saver mode is off. Once the data services are properly set up, we next set up location services. The device needs to have location services set to on for the entire device. On the Android, go to Settings and then go to Location and then set Use Location to on. Once location services are set to on for the entire device, now we must let Circle Mobile have access to location services, even if the app is running in the background. To do this, go to Settings, then go to Apps and Notifications, click See All Apps, find the Circle Mobile app, go to Permissions, and ensure Locations is set to Allow All the Time. This will mean that Circle Mobile has access to location services even if the app is running in the background. The next main setting we need is notifications. The device needs to have notifications set to Show Notifications for the Circle Mobile app to work properly. On the Android, go to Settings, then go to Apps and Notifications. Click See All Apps. Find Circle Mobile, open Notifications, and ensure Show Notifications is set to On. The last key setting is the battery optimization. When the device goes into low power mode, location services and notifications will not work when the Circle Mobile app is running in the background. On the Android, go to Settings, then go to Apps and Notifications, go to Special App Access, then go to Battery Optimization and ensure Circle Mobile is not optimized. In summary, you are responsible to ensure the driver has the minimum requirements for Circle Mobile to work. This includes the driver has a good data plan with roaming. The data plan provider has sufficient data footprint that works wherever the driver will run. The device has the latest version of the app installed. The device has cell data turned on. Data roaming is turned on. Low data mode is off. Location services is on. Location services for Circle Mobile is set to always. Notifications for Circle Mobile is set to allow, and the device is not in power saver mode. We will finish this video with an explanation of how the device is tracked. The Circle Mobile app is programmed to automatically send a position every 5 minutes. iPhones allow 5-minute updates, but Androids will only allow 15-minute updates. Every 5 minutes, Circle Mobile will call the location services on the device to get the current position of the device and then send the information via the data services. This will fail if location services is not turned on for Circle Mobile, it is in airplane mode, has cellular data turned off, and there's no Wi-Fi. There's a problem with the data services on the device is powered down, or the device is in low power mode. If everything is set up properly, the data is transferred back to the TMS and the position is updated on the TMS system. The TMS is programmed to check every 5 minutes for a position update from the device. If no update has come in, the TMS will send a request to the device using notification services. As long as notification services is properly configured in the Circle Mobile app, Circle Mobile will call location services on the device to get the current position of the device and then send the information via the data services back to the TMS. This will fail if notification services is not allowed for Circle Mobile, plus all the other reasons from the previous slide. If everything is set up properly, the data is transferred back to the TMS and the position is updated on the TMS system. Any TMS user can manually request a position update from the device via the gear option on the manifest grid. The TMS will send a request to the device using notification services. As long as notification services is properly configured on the Circle Mobile app, Circle Mobile will call the location services on the device to get the current position of the device and then send the information via data services back to the TMS. This will fail if notification services is not allowed for Circle Mobile, plus all the other reasons from the previous slide. If everything is set up properly, the data is transferred back to the TMS and the position is updated on the TMS system. Here are a few other things that might cause the Circle Mobile app not to work. First, the device operating system may get updated, and sometimes this resets the settings back to a factory default. The user then must go back and set all the settings for Circle Mobile. The user might install a firewall or use a VPN, virtual private network, which would affect the ability for the data plan to work properly. Finally, the user might reset their phone to factory settings. Again, this could affect how the Circle Mobile settings are defined, and they would have to be reset. Here are some frequently asked questions. How can I find out who is the data service provider for my driver? Go to the Circle Mobile tracking grid for the driver and look at the column called Carrier. How can I find the data coverage area for a cell data service provider? The cell data companies are constantly upgrading their networks, so the best way to find out their coverage areas would be to do a Google search, something like Verizon Mobile Data Coverage Area. How will we know if a driver has no data service where they are? Only by looking at the device would you know if there was data service. You would need to call the driver and ask them to try to do an internet search on their device. If they have no data service, their browser will just spin. If this works, then ask them to open the Circle Mobile app, go to the position page, and send current position to dispatch. This should provide a new position update in the TMS. What is the easiest way for the driver to determine if the device is properly configured? Have the driver open the mobile app and go to the About page. If they scroll through the page, they should see these settings. However, they still need to go into settings on their device to verify these other settings. Why do I only get a ping from the driver when their app is open? Well, this could be one of several reasons. 1, they have not set their location permissions to always. 2, their device is on power saver mode. 3, their device is on load data mode. Or 4, their notifications are set to off. My driver was pinging fine and suddenly stops pinging. What causes this? Well, this can be one of a bunch of reasons. The driver no longer has data cell coverage. They have not set their location permissions to always, and the app is running in the background. Their device is on power saver mode, and the app is running in the background. Their device is on low data mode, and the app is running in the background. Their notifications are set to off, and the app is running in the background. They powered off their device, they shut off their data services, or they shut off their roaming services and are outside their provider's service area. In summary, there are a lot of things that can prevent the Circle mobile app from tracking. It is important that you understand these potential issues and ensure your driver has a proper data plan and has configured their device properly. If Circle Mobile is properly configured and a proper data plan is in place for the device, the mobile app works very well.